hoping we can get this recording in progress in a British accent, or at least a Delhi accent, rather than this very strange foreign accent. But anyway, we have to put up with these things for a while. Okay, so let's all make sure our mobiles are on silent, even if you're at home. No harm having your mobile on silent. Yeah. And if it's out of sight, that also helps. If you can see it, it's distracting. At least I find that. Yeah. And then right at the beginning, we can engage in the first of the, what we call the three noble actions, or the first of the three excellences. So the first excellence is to generate a good intention, good motivation for the session. Second will be to conduct the session in a very good manner, open-hearted, sincere manner, intelligent manner. And of course, the last, third excellence is to, at the end of the session, to dedicate the positive energy we've all generated and share that with the universe, with other beings. So for the first excellence, we need to generate the motivation that right now, oneself and all living beings who are not enlightened are experiencing various degrees of dukkha, unsatisfactoriness, suffering. Suffering is not the best word. Dukkha has a very wide connotation. So all beings are in that state. We are fortunate because we have this opportunity to study and practice together. So we should generate both a sense of concern and sadness, care for others who are in such a miserable state, and also rejoice, on the other hand, at our own opportunity, our own good fortune to be able to have this spare time to work with our minds. This is very unusual, very precious. Most people don't have the time, or even if they have, they're not interested. They would rather entertain themselves, which of course we also do, but here at least we're taking an hour or so to let go of that entertainment mentality. Although we also have to be careful not to treat spirituality as a kind of distraction or entertainment. That can also happen, so we have to be careful. So think I'm going to engage in the session to the best of my ability with focus, sincerity, and with a intention of being beneficial for myself as well as others. So that means any question, any comment I make, behind it should be sincere intention, not just to, I don't know, show off or just to say something for the sake of it, but we do everything we do in order to benefit each other. That would be a wonderful motivation. There's no one-upmanship or competitiveness here. That is, we can leave behind in mundane world. Our jobs often require us to be that way, but here we can relax and just be very natural and good-hearted, let's say. So generate this intention and then generate good posture, upright posture. So we can bring the attention to the body sitting on the cushion or chair so that we can be here together in the present moment. Wherever we are, we can be in the present moment, not worrying about the past or future. We really have no control, do we, over what has happened? And what will happen also, we have no idea. Not really. So we can let go of that. We don't need to bother about it right now. Let go of that. Worrying about it, of course, will not help. Even if you do have what you consider some kind of problem or whatever crisis in your life, thinking and worrying about it all the time will not help. Often makes it far worse, actually. So let go of that. Let yourself relax in the present moment. With the body on the cushion, breathing normally, becoming aware of that breath. So becoming aware of your breath. Sense of letting go with the out breath. Letting go meaning as we breathe out, there's a natural sense of dissolving, isn't there? You're breathing out and somehow there's a merging with, you might say, space or whatever. So there's a sense of letting go and relaxing. Like when we breathe a sigh of relief, we breathe out, we don't breathe in. We breathe in when we are suddenly, when there's some shock or surprise. We breathe out, sigh of relief is breathing out. So let there be that natural relaxed feeling as we breathe out each time. Nothing to be gained, no expectation, no hope. Hopelessness in the positive sense, not having expectation and ambition. Letting go of those states of mind. Just enjoying being relaxed, but alert in the present moment. So that when thoughts take over, as they will, most probably, you just notice, but then let them go. Don't follow them. Just come back to the breath. Coming back to the breath means sensation of breath as it enters and leaves your body. through the nostrils, most probably. If your nostrils are blocked, then you, of course, are breathing through your mouth. Whatever it is, you be aware of that sensation. Try to keep the body still, although that may be difficult. We are so used to being busy and restless. Keeping the body still is a good habit to cultivate. Even during sleep, we are moving, apparently, changing positions. So here, let us be still, relaxed, attentive. All three factors working together. Just a few more minutes. Try to maintain the awareness, stillness, and to be relaxed in a kind of what one teacher has called carefree dignity. A good phrase, I think. Carefree, dignified. you need to stand or stretch briefly or take a 1-minute break, do that now, please. Okay, pardon, good idea. Yeah, we don't necessarily need the hustle and bustle of Mumbai with us. I hope you can find some serenity amongst your fellow passengers, wherever you are. So thank you everyone for being here. We have 3 people at Tushita, 1 old timer and 2 new timers, you could say. And thank you, the 12 people online, including myself, 13, but I'm kind of divided. Not sure where I am, online or offline, in person. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, so now I think today what we'll do is we'll have, I'll just talk very little, and then we'll have some discussion, which I'll guide here and there so that it's useful for people. But I just wanted to start with a couple of the traditional teachings, which are very useful, I think, at the beginning, which can be mentioned at the beginning of any Buddhist teaching, really. The first one is to do with the attitude one should take. So we've already spoken of the motivation. So that, of course, is of prime importance, that we're meeting together for mutual benefit and to be able to benefit also wider humanity and also any being, animals, any being that is suffering could be the object of our concern, one way or another. But here we can also say that there are some other attitudes which are very useful. The first of those is that we should have the attitude that oneself is a sick person. Just like someone going to a doctor's clinic, unless of course they are a paranoid hypochondriac or something who are imagining their sicknesses all the time. But most people, we might say, do have some sickness and they recognize it. Of course, if you are a hypochondriac, that is also a kind of sickness. But anyway, say you're going to an ordinary doctor's surgery, you're sick, you know you're sick, you admit you're sick, you know, and you go there. So we should admit that we are sick, but of course we're not talking here of physical sickness. We are, according to Buddha, mentally sick. We are sick with the delusions, klesh or karam, the disturbing emotions, primarily ignorance, which then begets anger, attachment, pride, jealousy, and so forth. And that makes us behave in ways that create more and more suffering due to the unwholesome actions we create. So we should recognize we are sick. We are not balanced. We are not peaceful. We are not, at peace in ourselves. We are unable usually to create harmony outside of ourselves. So we are sick. That's the first recognition. Second, the teachings are like medicine. The teachings are the medicine. Now, I'm not saying the teacher is the medicine. The teachings are the medicine. When you go to the doctor, you take his medicine, right? You don't take the doctor home and start eating the doctor. You eat the medicines, right? So the medicine is the teachings, okay? The medicine that we are taking are the teachings. In this case, Buddhist teachings. We recognize them as the medicine for our sickness. Of course, we recognize the teachings as the medicine, and then we generate the intention to actually take the medicine. Some of us sometimes, myself included, have the bad habit of buying a medicine because, I don't know, someone told us about it or whatever, or even we got it after seeing the doctor, but then we don't take the medicine for one reason or another. Or we start taking it, we get bored or forgetful, then we stop taking it. So then not much use. Especially with Ayurvedic or Tibetan medicine, which can be very good, but which can take a long time to work. It works very thoroughly, but one has to take it for longer periods. So, for example, one Tibetan friend of mine, he took a medicine for 3 or 4 years, Tibetan medicine, completely cured him of something that Western medicine hadn't been able to cure for many years. So you see, we have to be prepared to take the medicine. In other words, here, practice the teachings over a period of time and not be expecting quick results. That is a modern sickness, also wanting very quick, fast results due to everything is speeded up in our age, but we should not be in a hurry, okay? So those 3 things, we are sick, the teachings are the medicine, and the intention to take the medicine, practice the teaching. And also they add sometimes a very noble thought, which is very important actually. The 4th one would be that through listening and practicing the teachings, may the teachings last a very long time in this world. Because you see, nothing lasts forever. These precious teachings were not always here in this world, and they will not always be here in the future, but at least may they last a very long time. So if we have that intention, then that can help things to last longer. Plus it can create the cause for us to, in the far distant future even, it can create the cause for us to link up with the future cycle of teachings, whenever that may be. For example, under the next Buddha, Maitreya, who will be coming after a very long period of time. But if we create the right motivations, intentions, plant the right karmic seeds, then they can ripen in the future and we can benefit. Okay. And then the other preliminary teaching, which is very useful, which I've mentioned many times, but for the beginners here, also very useful to hear, the 4 reliances. So let's see how many of the old students remember any of the 4 reliances. Okay. Who remembers the first reliance? Oh dear. I have to give you the chance to unmute. Aji, what's the first reliance? Sujit ji. Sab fail
Not the person, but the teaching.
Aji, what?
Not the person, but the teaching. To rely on the teaching.
To rely on the teaching and not the person. Okay, good. So not to rely on the teacher so much as to rely on the teaching. And why do you think this is emphasized, Sujit ji?
Because the teachings are much more evolved.
The teacher may be very evolved, maybe an enlightened.
Yes, but that's a maybe. As in, the teachings have been there, as in the Buddha has put in the teachings, and also because you can keep on checking the teaching, but to keep on checking the teacher is much more difficult, I suppose. It would be a deviance.
Okay. What's another good reason for not relying so much on the teacher but on the teaching? Somebody? Anybody?
May I add that
Jagmohan ji, bataiye.
Teacher is an instrument who conveys the teaching to us.
He's an instrument, he or she is an instrument to convey the teaching, okay.
Who communicates the teaching to us. It is, the essence is teaching, We are
Okay.
after getting or learning the teachings themselves.
Right. I was also thinking that, did you want to? Okay. Somebody here, Prajanya here wants to also add something. Yeah.
Let's consider some general example in classroom. Teacher teaching, teacher teaches us. So while class we will understand the concept, but in exam, actual exam implementation that we have to do, our teacher will not come while exam.
Okay, right. Yeah, the teacher will not be there during the exam unless, it's one of these places where there's a lot of cheating and the teachers get paid for helping the students, whatever. But yeah, you can't take the teacher into the exam with you. You have to understand the teaching yourself. That's a good point. I was also thinking that because there are so many nakli teachers, false teachers, one has to be very careful of people. But authentic teachings are what we should rely on. Teachers may or may not be so authentic, but the teachings, the authentic teachings, we can rely on them. Okay, what's the second reliance? Anybody?
Not the words, but the meanings.
Matlab, could we have the full form, please?
Do not rely on the words, but on the meaning of the words.
So, okay, so do not rely on the words so much as the meanings. Rely on the meaning of the words. I think that's quite clear, although words, we read them and we think we understand, but sometimes we have to get at the meaning. Yeah, sometimes we don't understand the words, actually, and that's why we have to understand the meaning. That is also there. That is also there. That is also there. Yeah, yeah. So not the words, but the meaning. Anybody want to add to that one? Anybody? Why should we be more concerned?
Words could be interpreted differently by different people.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And what's the third reliance?
Do not rely on the superfluous provisional meaning, but
What?
do not
What?
rely on the superficial meaning.
Don't rely on the superficial meaning. And
but
then?
on the deeper meaning, the definitive meaning.
Deeper meaning. Okay, don't rely on the superficial meaning, but on the deeper meaning. So what's that about? What does that mean? Anybody? Elaine? आप तो मास्टर्स प्रोग्राम कर चुकी हैं, आप बताइए.
Kabir ji, probably the teachings, superficial meaning, Buddha taught, I think in this case, I can only give an example.
Good.
Buddha taught the three turnings of the wheel.
Yes.
And I think the first one was that everything is, all compounded things are impermanent. But on a deeper level, when he came to the third turning of the wheel, he taught, how do I explain? He taught the
second turning.
The deeper meaning, the second turning taught that everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. And then, of course, the Chittamatrans at the third meaning, and 10 very learned bodhisattvas asked questions about this on behalf of mainly the Chittamatrans, who said you're saying one thing at one and another thing on another. And that's when he gave the definitive meaning and the deeper meaning. And so I think we should strive to understand that one more. Or am I not?
Little bit, I think, not
Sorry.
the way I heard it. The second turning was the emptiness. And
Yes.
then the third turning was more
Third one.
and so forth.
Yeah.
Anyway, good point. Thank you. The point is there are levels of teaching for, you could say, beginners, or initially we learn that everything is suffering, it's cause of suffering, ending of suffering. And we feel that suffering is something very real. And, you know, okay, it's impermanent, but we feel there is a real suffering there. There's a real person suffering and so forth. In the second lot of teachings, the Buddha instigated and gave, there he says there is no inherently existing person. There is no solid person. There is no inherent suffering, etc., etc. So there are deeper levels of meaning. So to become awakened, we need to understand the deeper levels, not just the superficial levels. The superficial levels are very useful, but we have to get to the deeper level of what the Buddha means. So that's the meaning of the third reliance. Don't rely on the superficial meaning, rely on the deeper meaning. And what is the, what's the fourth reliance? Somebody is not looking at their notes or books. Anybody? Sagar,
That's
Sujit is doing all the work today.
I knew the first three.
You knew the first three. That's very convenient. Yeah. Naveen, Navita, what's the fourth reliance? All these old students. Haji, Elaine, you have to be back to you.
I've forgotten Kabir. I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm going to report to Geshe-la that
I
you
know.
don't absorb anything. This is a basic
I just
stuff.
can't remember it. I know.
So memory pills lijiye na. I also need them. If you find
I'm just
some.
getting old. Yeah.
No, that Anushri, that's the third one. The deeper meaning is the third one. Oh, true. Yeah. Okay. So the fourth one, don't rely on a superficial, ordinary level of awareness. Don't rely on our normal distracted, gross level of mind, which is caught up with the consciousnesses of eye, ear, nose, tongue, touch, and gross things, memory and stuff. Rely on a deeper awareness, deeper wisdom consciousness. How do we awaken our wisdom consciousness? Through meditating, through calming the mind, through not getting caught up with distracting, not getting caught up with WhatsApp and everything like we do. Yeah, we all get caught up in distracting activities, and that leads to distracted states of mind, I found anyway. You're going for 5 minutes? Okay. Is that the fifth reliance? Okay. Okay, Elaine, you can go for 5 minutes. Okay. So those are the four reliances. Don't rely on the teacher, rely on the teaching. Don't rely on the words, rely on the meaning. Don't rely on the superficial meaning, but on deeper or definitive meaning. And don't rely with a superficial, ordinary level of awareness, but rely on that with a wisdom awareness, a deeper wisdom awareness. So we have to remember this. We can get caught up, of course, in the teacher, in the words. There may be beautiful words. And then we get caught up in superficial meanings. And then we may think that our ordinary level of consciousness serves me very well in my day-to-day life. You know, I may be very successful and have a lot of enjoyment in my life, but that doesn't mean I'm utilizing a level of awareness that is going to be useful on the spiritual path long-term. Need to develop a deeper level of awareness. Yeah. So I think that makes sense. Okay, so as I said, because we have two beginners here, and at the beginning there was just two of them, and Naveen and Navita came later. We're going to have more discussion today and questions, and we'll make it hopefully useful and relate it to the text which we are looking at. I'll just read something first as an introduction to this part of the session from a very useful guide to this text by Pema Chodron, the American nun. She's commenting on the 25th verse of the first chapter. So those of you who have it, you can look at it. I'll be reading her translation of it, or the translation she has. But it should correspond to what you have in whatever translation you have in front of you, if you have. For beings do not wish their own true good. So how could they intend such good for others' sake? This state of mind, so precious and so rare, arises truly wondrous, never seen before. So he's saying that people don't usually know how to behave in a way that is actually best for themselves. We behave in ways that are not good for us. And we don't really even intend our highest good. We intend, to be happy, successful, all these things. But that is not our true good. True good would be liberation, wouldn't it? Or enlightenment, at least happiness in future lives. But this we don't wish for ourselves. Most people don't even think of those things. This is what Shantideva is saying. So if they don't even think of these things for their own sake, they're not going to think about it for the sake of others. They're just not going to do that, So this mind, he's saying, of compassion, Bodhichitta, is so amazing, so rare, so precious. This mind which is wishing for the highest benefit for others. He's saying it is so amazing, so rare, because we don't even think positively for ourselves, really, anything truly good for ourselves. Just very superficial things from a spiritual point of view, very superficial, just based on this life, nothing to do with future lives or liberation, let alone enlightenment. So for the beginners, Shantideva is talking about the state of mind that we call Bodhichitta. Bodhichitta means developing a state of mind that wishes, seeing the suffering of oneself and others. One wants to become awakened. One wants to become a Buddha oneself. Why? In order to benefit others, in order to awaken others. Can we all become Buddhas? Yes. Why? Because we all have the seed of Buddha within us. We have Buddha nature. So he's not talking about something fantastic or unimaginable or, something unrealistic. According to the Buddha, we all have a state of mind which can evolve into Buddhahood. Yeah, okay. So then Pema Chodron comments on this verse. When Shantideva is talking about those who don't wish their own true good, he's referring to most of us. Working with habitual patterns is not usually our priority. Habitual patterns, what does Pema Chodron mean by habitual patterns? Okay, folks, anybody?
How the mind thinks.
How
the mind works.
So how does it work?
Usually there are, for instance, worldly dharmas. You would like to be liked and you would not like to be criticized.
Okay. So Naveenji has pointed out that here habitual patterns also is referring to the 8 worldly feelings, worldly dharmas, like, wishing to be liked, not wanting to be disliked, etc. Wanting praise, not blame, wanting pleasure, not pain, wanting gain, not loss, right? But in terms of our actions, what kind of habitual actions are being spoken of here in terms of actions? Want to grasp. But just give a mundane kind of activity, which, it seems a lot of people are engaging in, which is a habitual pattern, which would not be useful spiritually. I'm sorry? Picking up the phone. Social media. Social media is a habitual pattern, that's for sure, which is can be quite detrimental, absolutely. But also, you know, just things like stealing, things like harsh language, things like trying to put people down, trying, you know, lying, dividing people with one's speech, being dishonest, you know, anger, lust, all of these things we engage in, these are habitual patterns. They're coming from a very long time in the past. We are used to them. We don't need much to learn them in this life. We don't need to go to university to learn these things. They come as one package, you know, with us. Of course, it can be stimulated and increased by what Krishnamurti would call a rotten society, but we do have the seed of all of these in us already. So working with habitual patterns, meaning trying to work and get rid of them, understand and get rid of them, is not our priority, she says. Most of us are not impassioned about de-escalating our emotions and prejudices or awakening bodhichitta, this great mind of wishing to liberate others. Okay? This true good is not our main focus. We'd simply like to get through our day without mishaps, and we definitely don't want to be bothered with people who give us difficulties, who give us grief. Meaning, the only way we want to be bothered with them sometimes is to, you know, take them to court or harm them or shout at them. But we are not bothered with them in a compassionate way, she means. Yet, without the aspiration for freedom, how could we want this for others? मतलब अपने लिए नहीं सोच रहे हैं तो दूसरों के लिए कैसे सोचेंगे? We can only wish for them what we value for ourselves. Yeah, as Shantideva says in his text, if we haven't even dreamt of this attitude of bodhicitta for ourselves, how are we going to, you know, even think of it for others? So this opportunity to awaken bodhicitta is so precious, so rare. To experience something that liberates us from the narrow-mindedness of our biases and preconceptions is, as Shantideva says, truly wondrous. Yeah. It's like if we had a very bad disease and a doctor gives us a medicine that cures us, we would think that is really amazing. You know, but this bodhicitta liberates us from something that has been causing us harm and causing other people harm since beginningless time. Beginningless time, we have been harming ourselves and others with our habitual patterns. And this bodhicitta is like an unbelievable medicine that can cure us of a beginningless disease, right? So it's amazing, it's wondrous. In the original meaning of the word, wonderful, full of wonder. What's more, there is no one who cannot experience this if they're willing to give it a try. So that's also amazing. It's not like this is only for some elite, you know, people who are card-carrying Buddhists or people who, you know, meditate 10 hours a day or donate to Buddhist centers. It's not just for such people. Everybody can develop this bodhicitta. Everybody. Gee. What's that? A big spider. Oh, yes. I'm reminded of that wonderful track by The Who, the rock group, The Who, you know, Boris the Spider. So there's a big spider, and luckily it's not a tarantula like they get in South America, which can kill you, I think, almost with its poison. But there is a spider. So what shall we do with the spider, Sagar Bhai? It's 7 inches.
Put it on a piece of Kabir. Put it out of the window.
Not all
put
over.
It on a piece of paper and put it out.
I want to put it in front of Lord Buddha on the altar. Then it gets a good vibe. If I can
Yes.
put him on a piece of
Well,
paper.
put him on a piece of paper.
Haji, koshish kar rahe hain. Oh, he's coming closer. He wants to be on the cushion. He's a reincarnated teacher who made a few mistakes. Where'd he go? He's disappeared. He disappeared now. Probably in the middle of the cushion somewhere. Chalo, anyway, he's happy where he is, I guess. Yeah, can you see him? Take it. I was too slow, otherwise I'd put him in front of Lord Buddha. He could at least do what he does in front of the statue. Anyway, he's in the Gompa, so he's a lucky spider. He's not in Daryaganj or in, I don't know, Ansal Plaza or in a cinema hall where they would just stamp on him and get him out. Okay, so thanks for noticing that. Yeah, I'm not worried, but I would like to get him somewhere better. I think he could have been a bodhisattva just manifesting, because he's disappeared. Okay. So the saga of the spider, we'll not forget. So now the people here are looking. They have got torches out. Naveen is on his knees, so we want to catch him. Naveen is always on his knees, he says. Let me show you the activity here at Tushita. It's very exciting. You see? Very exciting. This is all for your entertainment.
I know you might as well do a couple of prostrations while you're at it.
Sure, sure.
Yes, so that's maybe you should get up.
Maybe I should get up.
Yes.
Okay.
Here you are.
Oh,
It's very fast. I don't think
where'd he go? Now he's disappeared. Oh,
He's going towards where you want him to go.
okay. What next? He's crawled under Maitreya. Very good. Lucky spider. Thank you. Okay, so this is a great teaching we are giving here, that don't kill spiders on impulse. Habitual pattern तो होगा ना कि cockroach spider देख लिया मार दिया, मच्छर देख लिया मार दिया. Why? Basically self-cherishing. We care for ourselves so much that we are upset when we see even a cockroach, even though it may not be anywhere near us or whatever, but we don't want them. And then we have lots of excuses to kill them, to bring, bimari phalaega, ye wo karega. Anyway, so where were we? What were we talking about? Bodhichitta. So he's saying there's no one who can't experience Bodhichitta, because we all have the Buddha nature. So that is the best news we could hear. So although the Buddha started off his teaching career telling us something we would rather not hear, that everything is dukkha, there are also these kind of teachings that we all have the Buddha nature. So it means we are all potential Buddhas. In the translation, it says we're all potential Buddhists. In the, whatever it's called, the self, what's it? No, we are not potential, we may be potential Buddhists, but as the teaching some say, don't be a Buddhist, be a Buddha. That's much better. क्योंकि आप कहेंगे ना मैं बौद्ध हूँ तो वो कहेगा मैं मुसलमान मैं हिंदू हूँ तो फिर झगड़ा हो जाएगा. So better just to be a Buddha, to be an awakened person. You don't have to go around telling people you're an awakened person. So you don't have to go around like a card carrying Buddhist. I mean, I carry my Aadhaar card, but I don't carry any Buddhist card around. Aadhaar I just take in case, somebody thinks I'm a foreign spy. But Buddhist ID I don't need. Okay. Any questions so far? Any comments on your own reading of Shantideva? Especially the first couple of chapters. Don't ask anything about the 9th chapter, please. That's the wisdom chapter, which is the most difficult. But anyone want to say something? We have time, and as I said, I want more discussion this session. I'll just check. 10 non-virtues, yes. Karmic tendencies carried from countless past lives, yes. These are the habitual patterns. 10 non-virtues are habitual patterns. Who can recite the 10 non-virtues from memory? Naveen can't. Navita looks doubtful. We're not expecting our new students to know, but you guys should know. Sagar? Huh? No, you have to give all 10. You start with the three connected with the body, 5 with the speech, 3 with the mind, right? So who knows the 3 connected with the body? 3 non-virtuous actions. Killing, stealing. Sexual misconduct, okay. Harming others through sexual behavior. Yeah. Often in the teaching, they just say things like adultery. But of course, it's much wider than that. Okay, killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. What about the 5 connected with speech? There are 5 connected with speech. That's in, sorry, 4. 4 connected with speech. What are they? Lying. Haji, anybody online? Anybody online?
Idle gossip.
Huh?
Harsh words, gossip.
Harsh words. Lying, harsh words, yes.
Gossip.
Slander. Slander in the sense chugli karna, to divide people through, maliciously to divide people through your speech. Creating divisions with people, which can involve slander. But it's mainly like, like politicians have to do probably a lot, when they want
Talking
to.
ill of others.
वो तो सब harsh speech में आता है और
Okay.
So we have 3. What's the 4th? Very common non-virtuous speech, often connected with coffee and tea.
Gossip.
I'm sorry? Instigating people to do something wrong through speech. That would be, what would that be? That's interesting. That was not harsh speech.
Divisive speech.
That would be, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, instigating others. That would be a kind of,
Divisive speech.
Yeah, divisive speech. Yeah, good.
And the one that the coffee one is idle gossip.
Idle gossip. Gupshup.
Yeah, I said that earlier. Yeah.
You said it earlier. Well done. So Mumbai 1, Pune 0. Yes. Well done, Mumbai. Well done. Yes. Mumbai will always be ahead of Pune. Okay. So
that's divisive speech.
You're right. I'll wash my mouth out with Dettol later.
Listerine.
Listerine, yes, okay. I thought Dettol would be more punishing. Anyway.
That's too harsh.
That's too harsh, yes. Okay. So, 4 connected with speech we had. What are the 3 non-virtues of the mind? Which of course are primary.
Wishing bad for others.
Yeah, ill will, there's 1. And?
Anger, hatred.
Ill will, hatred, same thing.
Okay.
Come on, folks, jog your brain cells, your aging neuronal circuits working. Huh? Hurting someone? Like that's speech. We had speech. Now we're talking just of mind. Aage na ill will. I'm getting angry. Come on, Elaine, wake up. Oh, she's disappeared. Sujitji, please save these beleaguered.
Covetousness.
Covetousness. Do you have a list in front of you?
No, I'm forgetting the 3rd one.
Covetousness, yeah, is on the attachment side. Ill will is on the aversion side.
Covetousness.
3 principal non-virtues of the mind. What's the root of samsara? That's a hint.
Something to do with
Self-grasping ignorance.
Self-grasping what?
Ignorance.
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 So the third one is like
It's something to
ignorance,
do with
wrong
wisdom.
views. Huh?
Yeah, wrong views, right?
Wrong views, ignorance. Okay. So that's the root of everything. But these are the 10 unwholesome actions, which, if we engage in them, they have 4 karmic results, right? You all remember the teachings on karma, right? What are the 4 results of a karmic action, good or bad? What would be the 4 karmic results of killing? Elaine? Sorry to pick on you. What are the 4 karmic results of killing, according to the teachings on karma?
I think one of them is that
No,
you have a short life.
Let's start with the
in your-
principal one. What would be the main result of killing, according to the teaching? In terms, let me give you a hint. In terms of what it's called, the throwing, the throwing karma. Where would it throw you after death?
It would throw you into the hell realm.
Hell realm or one of the unpleasant realms, for sure.
One of the unpleasant realms, for sure.
If due to other good karma ripening, you were born as a human, what would be the other 3 effects of previously accumulated killing karma? As a human, what would you experience?
One would be a short life.
Short life, yes. Or,
The second would be.
and what is that result called? It's called the result similar to the.
Yeah, similar to the cause.
You know,
the
what's the
action.
result similar to the action? This is the worst one in some ways. If we have killed in previous lives,
it's a propensity to kill.
Propensity
it makes
to kill.
it easier for you to do it in the next.
Easier for us to kill again, right? Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Easier to kill, so it becomes a habitual pattern. In other words, that's the third bad effect of killing. And what's the fourth? It's what we call the environmental effect. So the environmental effect of killing is to be in circumstances which are not conducive for a healthy, happy, safe kind of existence. The worst would be like being reborn in a conflict zone or a place which has no proper food or water, where you are very likely to die quickly of that or disease or of marauding bands of bandits. There are places in the world like this. Sudan, South Sudan, the Sahel region of Africa, and also other places. And to be born, for example, in the last 195 days in Ukraine also wouldn't have been, that's also a bad environmental effect of killing karma. From Buddhist perspective, nothing happens just randomly. So anyway, I won't go into that. There's many things. So what would be the 4 karmic results of generosity? A good action like generosity. What would be the main result of generosity? The throwing karma. Killing karma, the throwing effect was, you said, hell realm, which is one.
I think the main one would be that you would be born with the 8.
No, which realm? Which realm would you be reborn?
You would be born in a human realm.
More likely.
Or a higher realm, most likely, where you would have the advantages of the 8 favorable.
Possibly, if you have created the cause for a perfect human rebirth, but here we're just saying generosity. But
generosity.
if we are very generous,
then you're born in a.
Okay, what are the other 3 results that will come from generosity?
With wealth, you would be wealthy, you'll have lots of money.
There will be sufficient, sufficient for our needs. We have that. And the habitual pattern.
You would always be ready. I mean, your habit of giving would
propensity to be generous,
on.
which of course is
Propensity
very good,
to be
a very good propensity to have. And the fourth, someone else? What's the
favorable
environmental effect of giving? If there is an environmental effect, if these teachings are true, what would be the environmental effect of giving? You'd be born in a bountiful place, yeah, where you get what you need from the environment. You get enough food, you have big departmental stores, you have choice of foods and drinks, or whatever, you have enough. Of course, you don't have to be born in a city, but you're born in a place where you have enough. You get what you need to be comfortable in life. And of course, people are generous to you. So that's
कर देती और जो रह गई थी
excuse me?
Testing.
Excuse me?
कर दो जो रह गई थी
What are you saying? Hello? Who's talking? Who is
Oh,
that?
sorry.
No. Acha, okay, there's a background person somewhere. Okay, so yeah, it's important to know about the 10 non-virtuous actions and their opposite, the 10 virtuous ones, which are like the opposite of the 10 non-virtuous, and their karmic effects. So if we want a good human life with the teachings, with a good body and mind, then we know what kind of karma we have to create. We have to help others. We have to, like helping others who are weaker than us has the karmic effect, it is said, of having a good, strong body in the future. It makes karmic sense. We help others, we lift heavy loads for others who can't lift themselves. So then, we have a good, strong body. If we, practice virtues, practice generosity, practice morality, it said then we have, more pleasing appearance. Said then there are very specific karmas that is said if we offer flowers and incense to holy objects, then that is a cause to have beautiful form and pure morality, so on and so forth in the future. So it's good to be aware of these things and to reflect on it. And remember also that the teachings on karma are deeply hidden phenomena. It's not easy to understand exactly how they work, especially over lifetimes. So people may be very dubious about this, but this is what Buddha taught. And it's good to at least reflect on it. Some of it makes more sense than others. For example, what would be the karmic cause of being somebody who speaks the truth, okay, but people don't believe you? And what would be the karmic cause of someone who tells a lot of lies, but people believe them? What do you think are the karmic causes in those two cases? Okay, the first one, lying. Even though you're telling the truth, this life, because you've lied in the past, there is a karmic effect of people don't believe you. And the other one would be the reverse, yeah? Even though you lie, people believe you. That's the karmic effect of having told the truth a lot in past lives, so people believe you. You could be, Dawood Ibrahim or someone, and you do a lot of negative actions, extortion and this and that, and you're not caught. You perhaps live a very luxurious life in Dubai or wherever you are, Why? And some people who haven't committed any crime, they are caught and accused falsely, or even on death row, and then, they are killed, executed. People who are not guilty. So the same kind of thing. The person who is not caught, they have created good karma. That's why they're not caught. But of course, the negative karma they're creating now will have its effect in the future. And the person who is on death row and is executed for a crime they did not commit are having to suffer the negative karma of crimes or something they did commit in the past. The net result of all these teachings on karma is avoid even a small negative action and try to create even a small positive action. Yeah, question?
Could that also not be attributed to environment? The believing of
that?
the lies, the believing of the lies and the punishment of the truth.
Environment? Yeah, but then
Yeah.
that person is born in that environment where the environment has an effect. It's all connected.
Yeah, it's all connected. Yeah, right. Thank you.
Good point. Are you still commuting?
I've just gotten home and I'm on the terrace, so it's a little quieter.
Okay. Okay. Nice sunset in Mumbai today?
It was. Lovely colors. It's September, October, great sky. I mean, lovely skies.
I think I'm coming to Mumbai. Yeah.
Come. You're most welcome. My home's your home.
We'll play cricket on Oval Maidan. Yeah.
I don't know how to play cricket. Huh?
We'll play football then, or croquet.
Yeah. We'll walk barefoot on the grass and sit
we'll
on it.
walk barefoot on the grass. That's a good idea. Okay. Very good. Anything else, folks? We still have time. Watching out for spiders.
Kabirji, I have a question.
Sir.
Yeah, so we were talking about
Ashwin, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about habitual patterns. I was just wondering, from the Buddhist perspective, once we identify a habitual pattern, say it's attachment or anger or something, is there any specific way we work with it, or is it different for different patterns?
Of course. If we have different diseases, we need different medicines, right? So what would you think is the best medicine for ignorance?
I think maybe to study more would be one, to reflect.
And which particular teachings might be most useful for someone with a lot of ignorance or wrong views?
Teachings on emptiness, maybe?
Yep, the wisdom teachings, exactly. What do you think would be good teachings for someone with a lot of attachment? Grasping, attachment.
On Bodhichitta?
Of course, Bodhichitta is overall wonderful, but what's a specific teaching for people with a lot of attachment? Impermanence?
Impermanence and death.
Say you're attached to your own and to other people's bodies, then what would be the classical Buddhist antidote to that? To be being obsessed with form, physical form, and taste, touch, and so forth, sight.
So reflecting on impermanence.
Yeah, especially the impermanence of the body, the fact that the body, it's just the beauty is skin deep, right? And of course, in the more traditional practices, the monks of the Theravada tradition, they're supposed to meditate on a decomposing body. So the body, after 1 day after death, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, by the 8th or 10th, 12th day, the body no longer looks like something appealing, as you can imagine. But that's for the card-carrying Buddhist monks and nuns. Yeah, not for us so much. But we can think about it. If I mean, I wouldn't. Surgeons do what they do. It's amazing, but I wouldn't want to be there while they're cutting up a body and to look at the insides. Wouldn't be something great for me. Of course, also partly because I'm vegetarian, so I'm not used to eating the insides of beings' bodies. But yeah, it's like peeling away the skin to see what's underneath is one antidote to attachment. Because what's underneath is not so marvelous, usually. And what would be the antidote to anger? Patience. What do you think, Ashwin? What's the antidote to anger? Ill will. Forgiveness. Compassion. Do you agree, Ashwin?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So those are the specific antidotes. Loving kindness to anger. Of course, emptiness works on all of these levels, on all of these things. What would be the antidote to miserliness? Given some understanding of the Karmic teachings on karma, what would be the antidote to miserliness? Generosity. recognizing that miserliness and so forth has certain karmic causes of not wanting to share and so forth, not being generous. So then generosity would be the antidote to miserliness, or recognizing also that miserliness would have some negative repercussions in the future, like poverty, actually. Not giving what one has, not even taking care of yourself because you're miserly. You don't want to spend on soap or toothpaste or whatever, or good food, even though you have lots of money in the bank. That just creates a very negative habitual pattern that you don't look after. You don't not just look after others, you don't even look after yourself. So that's very negative karmic predisposition has been set up. What would be the antidote to pride? Say I'm quite proud about what I know of, say, Buddhist teachings. Then what would be the antidote?
Humbleness.
Huh?
Humbleness.
Yeah. Being humble, humility. Also, in my case, being asked to read and teach the 9th chapter of Shantideva's text on wisdom. I would have no idea how to do it properly. It's just beyond me in many ways. So if I think I'm intelligent, then I should look at the deeper wisdom teachings to realize that there's a lot that I don't know. And also it helps to then have respect for people who know more. So not to feel jealous or competitive, but to feel respect for teachers who can teach those things. Yeah, that makes sense. What would be the antidote to deluded doubt? Deluded doubt is also a disturbing emotion because it makes us constantly doubt the teachings, especially the teachings on karma and emptiness. You know, some doubt in the beginning is said to be good, but deluded doubt means always doubting, always doubting. So what's the antidote to that, do you think? Yeah, so how do you generate trust in the teachings? How do you generate faith?
Applying the teachings in our real life.
Yes, applying
the teachings.
Yes, which implies we need to study more and understand the teachings, right? The more we study and understand, our doubts will be dispelled, right? Doubt is often there because we just don't know enough. You know, I doubt, I don't know the way to, say, Horsecast metro station. I have many doubts how to go about it. And then somebody kind or Google Maps tells me exactly how to get there. So then there's no doubt anymore. Tells me how many minutes it'll take if I walk or cycle or whatever. So the doubts are dispelled, right? So study, reflection, meditation, taking teachings from authentic teachers, authentic teachings, that is. All these things can dispel our deluded doubt. Sometimes people have very great difficulty dispelling doubt or generating faith. That also has karmic causes, right? So then the teachings would also say, for all these things, we need to be engaging in practices of purification and accumulating positive energy. That's why we talk about the 2 accumulations in Buddhism: accumulating merit, accumulating and purifying. Purifying negative energy through all the many practices there are, and accumulating positive energy through good actions, through mandala offerings, through meditating on bodhichitta, etc. All those things. Rejoicing. Rejoicing is a very good one because it's not so difficult. You can just sit there rejoicing in other people's goodness, in your own goodness, and that is creating a lot of positive mental energy. So the more we do, also serving one's teacher, one's guru, an authentic guru, serving them, that is supposed to be incredibly beneficial. Taking care of your teacher when they are sick. And there are many stories in the tradition about that. People caring And of course, you can see it now in the Tibetan and other traditions. It's amazing how much some of the attendants, how hard they work to look after their teachers, especially when their teachers become so old that they can't look after themselves at all. So then, cleaning them, taking them to the toilet, feeding them, everything. Doing that for your guru, incredible merit. This is there in Hinduism as well, of course. All of this, much of this. What else? Deluded doubt? Well, here in the teachings, it just says that because one doesn't have enough knowledge and practice and purification, I guess, one keeps on doubting the teachings on rebirth, karma, emptiness, and so forth. So it's a kind of pattern that's been going on for lives, due to sort of karmic, what we call karmic obscuration. Basically, it's a form of ignorance, which can be remedied through study, reflection, meditation, and clearing up. It's like sometimes you just don't feel so good physically, and you realize that by engaging in a certain regime or just purifying your body through whatever yoga or taking certain medicine, and then your whole body feels better, you can do everything better. It's a kind of a general spring cleansing. So the more we purify, and then the more we inculcate good habits and powerful positive energy, then things like doubt, they just kind of disappear, because it's like the sun coming out, so then the clouds just don't have a chance, that kind of thing. But when we are weak and our body is not well, then we are prone to many diseases, right? When the immune system is not strong. Similarly, when we are not purified and don't have enough merit or punya, we are susceptible to everything. Anger, attachment, doubt, lack of faith, depression, and that sense that, I can't do anything, I can't practice, which is a form of laziness in the teachings. That state of mind is a form of laziness. So that can be dispelled through, in general, purification and accumulating positive energy. Hold on, there's something in the chat. Okay, Ashish, you need to leave. Okay, thank you. Humility, good circumstances, wealth, short life, lust, ignorance. Yeah, okay. What else? We have 10 more minutes. Please. Yeah. What do you mean nothing is right, nothing is wrong?
So it totally depends on our perception, how we build from our ancestral teaching. And let's give an example. Let me say murder is a right or wrong. Okay. Somewhere in our society, if we kill someone, that's a bad for society. But same thing is happening on the border. If you're killing a Pakistani soldier, that is awarded in India, but punishable in Pakistan, right?
Yes.
Eating meat, in some religions, they are saying, yeah, it's good, like in Christianity. But in some religion, they are saying it's bad, it's a pap, right? You're doing bad thing, and you're killing an animal. So we can conclude that everything is changing dynamically according to the situation and the religions.
Good question here. Good question from Prajnanya. Huh? Prajanya, sorry, I'll write it down. And Prajanya comes from Pragya, wisdom. No? Meaning?
Rain.
Rain. Rain. Prajanya.
Is a name of God.
Prajanya. Anyway, okay, so he was talking about the relativity of good and bad. That murder is usually bad, but if you kill a Pakistani soldier on the border, of course, you could get a medal for that. So here we're looking at the deeper karmic truth, you could say. Buddha saw the truth of things. Of course, it's different to kill someone in self-defense, to defend yourself and your young children from someone who's obviously coming to murder you with a murder weapon. That's different, a bit different, isn't it, from cold-bloodedly killing someone. But again, there are very, very specific teachings on what constitutes killing in Buddhism. One factor that has to be there to make it a negative action is that there has to be the klesh, the delusion of hatred should be there, or anger, aggression. If you kill someone, and it is possible apparently, if you kill someone out of great wisdom, compassion, and wisdom and compassion basically, knowing that there is no alternative, and not doing it without the slightest trace of aggression or anger, but actually for the benefit of that person, then you will not incur the karma of killing, because your whole motivation is based on wisdom and compassion. So how could that arise, that situation? Well, you might see that the only way to stop someone doing something terrible is to kill them. You know there's no other way. And why do you want to kill them? Not out of anger, because you don't want the people they're going to kill to suffer, and you don't want the person themselves to suffer the consequences of killing. Their karmic consequences of their killing people will be terrible. So you are with a sad heart, but you're killing that person. That is not the karma of killing, because it's very clearly trying to, and knowing that you are helping that person. So it needs wisdom too. We shouldn't go around doing this thinking we can do it. But the Buddha in a previous life is said to have done that. He killed someone whom he knew was going to kill lots of other people, hundreds of other people. And he knew the only way to stop that was to kill this person. So he did it, and it said that he prayed, okay, if this is a negative karma, I accept the consequences. But it turned out that there was a virtuous karma, because he did it out of compassion. But yeah, if you say that killing is okay in tribal culture, they kill, or in certain, they kill so many goats and buffaloes in Nepal during Durga Puja, it's okay because it's culturally okay, then no, killing is killing. If you kill fish to eat because your children are hungry, it's still killing. But yeah, it's not as bad as killing someone cold-bloodedly. I mean, you're killing the fish to feed your family, but it still has a negative karmic consequence, even though you're not doing it out of anger, actually. And people who fish for pleasure, they're not doing it out of anger. But there is a subtle aggression, they say, connected with killing, even if you're doing it for pleasure, fishing for pleasure. There's a subtle aggression involved in taking a life. Plus, of course, you're taking the life of a being that doesn't want to die. It doesn't want to die. So that's negative. Whether fishing is considered a good thing or a bad thing in a particular culture, it's still you have the karma of killing the fish. Unless you're again doing it out of great wisdom and compassion. Say you're a very wise person who knows that particular fish is about to be caught and killed in a nasty way, or have a miserable death. So out of compassion and with your spiritual power, so you kill that fish in a very humane way and with many prayers and so forth. And so then that's different. But it's a good question. But no, Buddhism would say it depends on the intention. On the intention. So if our intention is not perfectly pure and wise, then there will be karmic, then there will be negativity. from all of these 10 unvirtuous actions. Of course, if we engage in so-called giving or generosity with a distracted mind or with an angry mind, matlab we give to a beggar because we just want to get them out of the way, they've been asking for money, we angrily give them 10 rupees, that's not going to get the result of generosity. It will be a very mixed karmic result because you're giving out of anger, actually. Or you very disrespectfully throw some coins into a beggar's lap. Disrespectfully. That's not pure karma of generosity, obviously. So, yeah, like that. What else? No? Anushri, Jagmohanji, Ayesha? Good, we'll stop there. We'll dedicate the positive energy. The third excellence, yeah, we have the excellence of motivation. We have the excellence of, I hope, engaging in the activity of the session with a good heart, good mind, sincerely. We did that, all of us. And so now we create a lot of positive energy just through hearing these teachings, which are authentic, I believe. So therefore they can help us be, better human beings and so forth. Create the causes for liberation and enlightenment. So we can dedicate that brings great benefit to ourselves and others. It creates the cause for us to keep on receiving authentic teachings from authentic books, authentic scriptures, and that we get to meet in the future authentic teachers again and again. That we recognize that we are sick and that the teachings are the only medicine to cure suffering properly. That we need to practice them, though, not just keep them on the shelf. So may all the great holy beings, teachers, have long and healthy lives. May all their wishes be fulfilled. May all of the unhappiness, the conflict, the war, the suffering in the world be diminished. May human beings become wiser and take better care of the environment, which is degenerating rapidly. And in these times, which are going to require lots of courage, compassion, and patience, perseverance, may we develop those qualities, without which the coming decades will probably be intolerable. So we may have personal problems, all of us, but the societal and environmental global problems that are there are going to affect all of us. So we need this Bodhisattva, Bodhichitta attitude. It's the best remedy. Because that's the kind of attitude, okay, whatever happens to me, doesn't matter, but one's life is dedicated to benefiting others. So that's the point. We recognize difficulties, grave dangers may be there, but since our attitude is focused on benefiting, we just take things in our stride. May we be like that. No other real alternative anyway. That is to live like a coward, hiding from the truth of the situation, is not a very good option. So may we be courageous practitioners. Okay. So before I fall asleep, we can end now. Thank you all so very much, people from all over.
Thank you. Thank you, Kabirji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kabirji.
Thank you. Good night.
Pranam Kabirji.
Rishi Valley
Thank
School.
you.
Thank you. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye-bye.